So I know that a lot of people might be in the same shoe like mine. You are not an engineer. You are not maybe civil engineer or whatnot. No, in the facilities management space, all you need to do is to understand the competence level and begin to apply them. The ability to utilize the resources available to you to deliver results is what that matters. And your ability to be open for trainings like this. So you are open for training like this, to develop yourself. And training like this, we are trying to push this profession and push it up. Try to be well recognized as a profession, not just what everybody can just do. So for those of us that we are here, maybe we don't have that technical engineering background, don't feel like you are missing it. No, you are not. It's the place to be. That is a profession to grow in. Today we are going to look at facility maintenance strategy. Facilities maintenance strategies. You know, one thing about facility maintenance is you need to understand the best strategies to implement whenever you are managing any facility. And as facilities managers, we are believed to be maintenance people. Everybody that's, you know, wherever you go, you say, oh, I'm a facilities manager, they just say, I'm a maintenance person. So as a maintenance person, you should be able to adopt the best strategy, you know, for maintaining your facility. Today we are going to cover a lot of area in this course. Now, in this course, we'll be able to find a strategy that will give your facility the best availability, safety and preservation of your systems, reduce equipment like downtime. You know, in facility management, you don't want a situation whereby your equipment are down, and your customers are complaining. So, as a good facilities manager, your very first thing is to reduce equipment downtime. You want to maintain your generator, and you are telling the occupant that, okay, this generator will come up. We are going to turn off generator by 1 p.m. And by 1:30 p.m., the generator will be up. You want to stick to that. So you need to have a strategy that can deliver on that. You need to have a strategy that can ensure reliability of your equipment. As in, whenever you call on that equipment, the equipment answers you. You know, then you have to put up a strategy that will reduce maintenance time. Like I said before, you are telling your occupant or your customer that, oh, the generator is going to take 30 minutes. You're going to take 30 minutes to maintain your generator. And after 30 minutes, you are waiting and the power is not coming up. That's not good at all. The aim of this strategy is to ensure that we reduce maintenance time and also reduce maintenance cost based on the kind of strategy we want to adopt. Sometimes we adopt a strategy that will increase cost. That will not be good for the organization. That will not be good for the strategic, decision that was made. Then reduce capital repairs. You don't want to adopt a strategy when you deploy that strategy, it becomes a problem to that facility. For instance, you deploy a particular strategy to repair maybe a transformer or something, and at the end of the day, that maintenance became a problem, and you now need to replace the entire transformer. You have created, capital costs for the organization. So whatever strategy you are picking, you must bear that in mind. The strategy that will reduce capital repairs on equipment. the strategy that will prolong the life of equipment. Now, you are not saying that these strategies are directed, to increase the lifespan of an equipment. But what these strategies will do is to enable the user, enable you to use the useful life of that equipment. So you adopt a strategy that can, make that equipment live the useful life. Also, reduce unplanned downtimes. The strategy that will reduce the unplanned downtime. When you are adopting, you need to look at this strategy. This strategy, how long is the downtime, like I said about the generator thing. So you must think of something to do, to reduce downtime. And generally in facilities management, the idea is to reduce downtime as much as you can, so that the people that are doing the core business will have that environment, to perform their tasks without any disruption. Then reduce unplanned repairs. All right. So your strategy should be able to address issues like unplanned repair. The one that you adopt, the one that will reduce unplanned. Now, okay, sorry about that. It's the earpiece, and without it, it's even worse. So I'll just quickly run through what I've said. Like as facilities manager, we are expected to adopt the best strategy in doing our job. The best strategy that will guarantee availability of our assets. The best strategy that will guarantee the safety of and preservation of our systems. Reduce equipment downtime, because when you are maintaining, when you are adopting a strategy, you should be thinking of these things. It should be on your mind, Ensure reliability of equipment, reduce maintenance time, You adopt a strategy that when you tell your customer that you want to spend 1 hour in maintaining this generator, so there will be power cuts for the next 1 hour. You want to stay on that. Not that after 1 hour, the customer or your occupant will be saying, where is the power now? And they are waiting on you. So when you are choosing your strategies, you must choose the one that will best suit the customer's requirements. Ensure performance of the equipment. Reduce capital repairs on equipment. Now you must choose a strategy that when you are done or when you deploy that strategy, it wouldn't result to a bigger problem whereby your organization or your client will now need to replace that asset. So what you are doing is you are assessing the facility and also looking at what strategy will best, match that facility. Reduce unplanned downtime. Like I said before, we don't want a situation whereby they are always calling and say there is no water. There is no water because you are using the wrong strategy. You are placing your pumping machine on preventive maintenance, whereby you could have just gotten a backup pump so that when the one that is working fails, you just replace. But it is very unwise that you place that pump preventive maintenance, or you place it on predictive, depending on what you want to do. But all these things will depend on the kind of strategy you want to choose, so that you reduce unplanned downtime, then reduce unplanned repair. Okay, so in this course, these are the outline. Module 1, we'll look at introduction, that is maintenance strategy. I've been talking about, what I've been saying for the past, 2-3 minutes is about the introduction. And in module 2, we'll look at run to failure reactive maintenance strategy. This is one of the strategies. Of the 3 key strategies, this is one of the strategy, the run to failure reactive maintenance strategy. We are going to look at that. The run to failure, just as the name implies, you attend to it when it happens. You wait until it happens before you attend to it. And it's funny that this is a strategy, because the way it looks as if somebody is not proactive, but it is a strategy that can address some kind of facility need. Now, the next strategy is the preventive or planned maintenance strategy. We are going to look at that because of this training. Then the fourth one there is the predictive maintenance. This one is about monitoring, gathering data, and from your data, you can make informed decision on what to do. Then the fifth one there is the reliable centered maintenance. This is not a strategy, but it is a framework that encapsulates the three other strategies. Here is like a mix and match, thing. You put all your maintenance items together, and you begin to say, okay, let me place this number in run to failure. Okay, let me place this one on preventive maintenance. Let me look at let me place on predictive maintenance. But above all, this framework is cost center. You are maintaining your facilities, you are maintaining the requirements of that facility, but you are also reducing costs. So it is a business framework. It's business framework, and for the organization to make decision. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, the introduction. Now, a maintenance strategy. For you to deploy the best maintenance strategy, you must understand the corporate strategy of the company. We have levels in an organization, and all these levels are decision-making levels. They are decision-making levels. You must understand at the purpose level, the strategic purpose level, what is the focus of the strategic purpose level, and that is the customer. You define your customer. You define your customer need. You say, okay, these are my customers, and these are the people we are facing. Just like Max-Migold, we know that you are our customer, so we do everything to ensure that we satisfy you. Then the next level is the strategic planning level, where you have the objective of the organization, the vision, the mission of the organization, how the organization tend to achieve, tend to meet their customers' requirements. At that level, it's all about planning, it's all about setting objectives, it's all about highlighting the actions to be taken to achieve those objectives. It's all about, getting resources, putting things in place. Then in the next level, which is the business unit level. In the business unit level is where you have other departments, and that's where the facility management organization is embedded. And the facility management organization in that level feeds the other business units. It feeds the other business units at that level. So, and from that level of the facility management organization, you have this. There are two key outputs at that level, which is the strategic facility plan and the facility management master plan. And the next level is now the tactical plan. And under the tactical plan, you have the operation plan and the maintenance plan. And that is where we are right now. So you must be able to trace your maintenance strategy from the corporate strategy. For example, if a company or an organization now, an organization that is into maybe logistics or bringing in of goods, and last year they brought in like 5,000 trucks of goods, and this year the company is saying, oh, our strategic objective this year is to bring 20,000 trucks of goods. As a facilities manager, you need to key to that strategy. You need to key to that objective. How do you do that? Oh, we brought in 10,000 last year, and this year we want to bring, let's say, 50,000. You know that definitely you will need an expansion of your warehouse. You know you need to bring in a lot of things so that when these goods are coming in, there will be accommodation for them. So you begin to think, you align your strategy with the corporate strategy, because that's the only way you'll be able to, meet the objective. You must align your objective as a facility manager with the corporate objective in terms of resources, in terms of finance, in terms of everything, so that you won't have problem with your management. Now, choosing a maintenance strategy. Like I said, you must understand the maintenance strategy that you want to deploy. You must understand the methods that you want to deploy. You must understand the goals of your maintenance strategy. Now, for a typical technician knows what to maintain or knows what to service, and he knows how to maintain that particular facility or that particular equipment. But most times they don't know why they are maintaining those things. They just think, oh, it's our work. We know how to maintain it. We know what to maintain. It is the strategic level that will really show you why you want to maintain that thing. And it's not the why include a lot of things. Include the finance that is the budget that is attached to that maintenance, the resources that is available, the decisions that should be to be made, the approvals around it. So when you are choosing maintenance strategy, you are not just looking at an equipment and say, oh, this equipment, this is how I want to maintain it. I'll put it in run to failure, or I'll put it to preventive maintenance, or I'll put it to predictive. You must also look at your organization process. What is on ground? What approval is needed? What are the resources? What is the goal of this AC that you are maintaining? What is the organization's objective for this particular thing? You must understand, and you must understand the advantages and the disadvantage of a particular maintenance strategy that you want to deploy. And you need to evaluate all the maintenance strategy. You need to evaluate, you need to check. You try a particular maintenance strategy this year, you want to evaluate what kind of results that has produced. You want to check if it meets your facility's objectives. You want to check if you meet the customer, you exceed their expectation. So that's evaluation. And you are evaluating based on the strategy. And then you select the right strategy. After evaluation, you select the right strategy for that, for what you want to maintain. And you also consider the decision prior to the equipment installation. Why was the equipment installed? What was this equipment installed to achieve? So when you are maintaining, that should be part of what you define in your strategy. It is important that there is a good understanding of how equipment fails in order to make a good choice of the most appropriate maintenance strategy. You must understand how equipment fails. For example, equipment with moving parts. You know that this equipment will fail due to wear and tear. So what will come to your mind is, okay, I need to place a schedule around this equipment to maintain it. So you'll be thinking of a preventive maintenance. You wouldn't wait, you wouldn't do run to failure, because once a part of that equipment is bad, definitely that translates to other parts of the equipment. So you must know the failure mode of an equipment for you to manage that equipment. So criteria for choosing a maintenance strategy. I said it before, allocation of available resources. Do you have the resources to maintain, to carry out, to adopt this particular maintenance strategy? Do you have the resources? Do you have the personnel, skilled personnel? Do you have the budgets? If you want to adopt a run to failure maintenance strategy, do you have the budget to adopt that? Then organizational maintenance process. Organization, they have their process. So if you are coming in as a facilities manager in a new organization, you must learn the organization's process. Is it an organization that takes time, that goes through approval upon approval before they release, fund or resources? Is it an organization that, you know, before they do anything, they need to pass through this and that. So you need to understand that before you deploy a particular strategy. Then selection of technology. You know, again, you must, before you select, there's a lot of technology to manage facilities now. In fact, there's one while working with Shell, and there's this software we use, Plan On. You know, very expensive thing for them to create profile for one person. As at then, it was over $2,000. So, do you want to come and deploy that technology in this in where you are without knowing their strategic focus, without knowing the organization maintenance and process, without knowing their level of their level of fund they are willing to release. So those are things you're looking at, or adoption of already existing technology. Is there an existing technology? Can it be adopted with this your strategy that you are bringing up? So those are things you look at when you are choosing a maintenance strategy. Also, the technology cost, like I said, for a profile to be open for a facility manager or for any individual there, it was over $2,000. You know, will the company be able to do that? You are talking of a very fantastic software. Oh, this software can do this maintenance. Oh, this software can prompt us when there's any maintenance activity. This software can, you know, process payments for vendors and all that. But do you have the fund? You know, can the organization afford that? Then the type of equipment too. When you are choosing a strategy, you must consider the type of equipment. You know, some equipment may be so old, and you know, even if you want to put it on preventive maintenance, you need to change, you know, the pattern, the mode of maintaining it. For instance, a very old generator that is over 30 years old, and you still want to place it on 3 hours run maintenance, then you are making a very big mistake. So you look at the equipment, type of equipment, or is it a very sophisticated equipment that once you open it, you can't, you know, put it back together. Just like one time I had a phone, you know, I took it for repairs, and the person repairing was saying he's going to open the phone from behind, you know, from the behind, and after, you know, close it up. But the thing is that the phone won't be closing well. I said, you open it, remove the battery and put it back and close it, and it won't be closing well. He said, yes, that's how the phone is. Once you open it, you can't close it well. I told him, thank you, give me my phone. You know, so some equipment are like that. They are not, you know, you need highly skilled people to maintain it. So when you find yourself in that space, what you can only do is to choose the maintenance strategy that will minimize, you know, minimize whatever fault that will result on that equipment. So sometimes you just, okay, you do the run to failure maintenance. When it goes bad, we'll repair it. But right now, we are not going to touch it. Okay? So then personnel skills. I said something about personnel skills. Personnel, are they skilled in maintaining that equipment? I remember some time ago, we called somebody to come and service just AC in the office. In fact, the AC was just dropping water, so it wasn't as if it wasn't cooling. But after servicing, the AC stopped cooling. In fact, it became a problem. So do you have skilled people that can, you know, do this? Because that will inform the kind of maintenance strategy you are going to adopt. Then personnel training. You have the resources to train your personnel. You know, if you're adopting a particular maintenance strategy, you are deploying a particular maintenance strategy. Do you have fund to train personnel to be able to follow through that strategy? Then quality of service. You know, quality of service is not the service you as a facility manager will decide for the customer. It is, quality talks about what the customer requires. Let's talk about the customer requirements. So whatever you are doing, and the customer says, oh, I want 24 hours power supply. I want 24 hours power supply. And you are telling the customer, no, that can't work because we want to do maintenance, so we'll shut down. Then it's a problem. You have not satisfied that customer. That service cannot be grouped under quality service. So you must choose a maintenance strategy that ensures that at the end of the day, you are giving the customer a superior customer experience. And of course, the customer is the reason why we are in business. So we must satisfy them. So when you are choosing a strategy, you must have the customer on your mind. All right. The common challenges of maintenance strategy. Like we said, lack of understanding maintenance strategy elements. Like I said before, a technician might know what to maintain. A technician might know what to maintain, and know how to maintain, but may not know why he is carrying out that maintenance. It might be simple so that there will be light. You know, I'm maintaining this generator so that there will be light. But you don't know what informs management to pick that strategy. And they are telling you, do it like this. You are saying, no, I want to do it like that. So it's easy to follow manual, you know, but in the strategy level, it's not just following manual. You as a facility manager will be able to draw out the step-by-step SOP of a particular maintenance activity. So you must understand maintenance strategy elements. 2, top management challenging the maintenance strategy. Here, the truth of the matter is that organizations do not like to spend on facilities management. So if you are telling them, oh, this is the budget, and we spend 100 million naira last year, but because of the failure mode of last year, because of the information we had last year, because of all our activities on plan and everything, you are likely going to spend, say, 120 million. You have a very hard time to explain that and justify why you need 120 million. So that's another thing. So when you are choosing strategy, you also need to consider management and management stand. Because if you don't consider management stand, you'll be fighting with management. And I'm sure you know who is going to be the winner of that fight. You see a lot of times, you see facilities manager are at site, you also be quarreling. They are not releasing funds for this, they are not releasing funds for that. You know, there's no money. No, there's a strategy. There's an objective, a corporate objective that the organization is following. Unless you understand that, you won't be able to do what you are doing. So we need to understand that. All right?
That's the best.
Please, who is that? Just mute your mic. Please mute your mic, please. And I believe you are hearing me. I've just been talking and, you know.
Yes, sir, we are hearing you, sir.
Okay, good. I just want to be sure that I'm being heard. I just have to hold this mic, this earpiece close to my mouth so that I'll be able to talk. Then inadequate maintenance resources. That's a common challenge of. You want to do predictive maintenance. You know, predictive maintenance is high level, kind of, but you don't have the resources to carry that out. And you are pushing it to management, that, oh, management, we need to focus on getting equipment to generate data, monitor this, that. It will give us, you can be proving all that, and you are telling them how good that strategy is. But they are telling there's inadequate resources. We can't do that. So whenever you want to deploy or choose a maintenance strategy, you must look at that. Ineffectiveness of maintenance activity. Now, when we are doing maintenance planning, we will also look at maintenance activity. You know, we know of technicians. They say, we know of our head. It is in our head. We can just do. We go and maintain a particular. This you say you know. the activities are not outlined. You need to outline your activities in such a way that you won't, of course, reduce downtime of that maintenance. You know exactly what to do. Sequence it, that when you finish this, you move to the next and to the next. But if you have ineffectiveness in terms of maintenance activity, then there's a problem. So when choosing, any strategy you are choosing, you must consider this. Have you outlined your activities so well that it is in sequence, that when this finishes, the other one, takes off? So that's one thing you need to look at. Then misalignment of maintenance strategy. We talked about the reliability maintenance when you are looking at the 3 maintenance strategy and how you are like chess, trying to use this, all that. Here you must try to align your maintenance strategy. Remember, the reliability maintenance strategy maintenance is all about cost savings. You are saving costs and you are also maintaining the requirements of that facility. You are also maintaining the reliability of that facility. So you need to align all your strategy in such a way that you can get optimal results. Then inadequate maintenance planning. We see that every day. I was in a particular establishment where we wanted to bring in a generator. We are using a particular kind of diesel generator. We don't want to deploy a gas generator, And we started planning. All of a sudden, somehow, there was a break in communication and all that. So they were now bringing in the gas generator. There was no plan. When you are bringing this gas generator, you have to remove the one on ground before you install the gas generator. What is the backup? Have you put a backup in place so that when you are replacing this generator, the backup will be running while you are working on this gas? 1. 2, the gas generator they were bringing in, nobody even knows how it works, So when they brought the gas generator and we had to remove the 300 kVA generator, 350 kVA generator, we had problems. Because for 5 days, we were battling with the gas generator to put it on. Of course, sourcing for gas was a problem. And even bringing the gas tank to that place was a problem because we needed to get DPR approval and all that. So we kept occupants for over 5 days in darkness. And this is an estate where you cannot use your personal generator. So it was a poor planning, very poor maintenance planning. So you need to ensure that you adopt a strategy and plan your maintenance so that to reduce downtime. Maintenance goes hand in hand with organizational objective. I said that before. And so there must be a clear understanding of maintenance objectives to ensure proper allocation of maintenance resources. First, you must know your organizational objective. Like I said before, a company that was bringing 5,000 trucks of goods decide to go to 50,000. That's the objective of the organization. Number 1, the finance people will step in because you know that the money needed to bring in more goods must increase. The finance people will step in. The operations people will step in. The facility manager will step in too because you need space for that, for the goods that are coming in. You need to create space. You need to create storage area. You need to put all the facilities on ground. So that's the objective. So you must align your strategy with, that of the organization. If your strategy is not aligned or with organization strategy, or your objective as a facilities manager is not aligned with the objective of the organization, you're just wasting your time. You'll just be giving yourself a problem and you'll be fighting with management. And at the end of the day, you not achieve much. So let's go into the maintenance strategy proper. The first one here is the run to failure reactive maintenance. I want us to note here that all unplanned maintenance is run to failure. All repairs is run to failure. All repairs, whatever repair you are doing, the door lock, the AC is broken and is run to failure. In fact, if you want to count wherever you are right now, you want to count the things that are in wherever you are right now, you see that all of them will be under this strategy, run to failure. And like I said before, run to failure is like ironic, you know, but it is a strategy. It is a strategy that an organization must adopt to optimize, you know, their output. It is a strategy a facility manager must adopt to for maintenance of his facility, because there are some most facility that you must, you know, put in this run to failure reactive maintenance strategy. So like I said, all repairs are under this strategy. So run to failure maintenance strategy. These are actions taken to repair equipment after failure. So in this strategy, the strategy, you can simply say this strategy is do nothing. At this point, we are doing nothing. You don't have to do anything. Just sit down and wait for the assets to go down or to get bad. So you just sit and wait. So in fact, the way you are even looking at it, it doesn't look like a strategy. It looks like the facility manager is not proactive. But I tell you, there are many assets. In fact, 70 to 80% of assets in a particular site or organization is under this strategy, should be placed under this strategy if the facility manager knows what he's doing. So action taken to repair equipment after failure. Then, next one is restoring equipment intended function when it fails. When equipment fails, you restore it to intended function. Those are repair, reactive. It can be cost effective for small equipment. For small equipment, it can be cost effective. For example, maybe your water dispenser. What kind of maintenance you want to do around water dispenser? What kind of maintenance? You're just wasting time. So you just leave it. When it goes bad, you fix it. What kind of maintenance you want to do around your light bulb? You'll be doing over activity or over sabi to put a maintenance schedule around your light bulb. Oh, that every three months I will go and check the light bulb. I will unscrew them, remove them. No, you are wasting time. You are wasting valuable time. So you put it on run to failure. The light bulb is dead. You replace and move on. Many other facilities like your printer. What kind of maintenance do you want to do around? What kind of preventive maintenance schedule you want to put around your printer? You are wasting resources. You are wasting resources. You are wasting money. And then the organization will not even take that, even if they may not know. But now you have this knowledge that like 80% of assets should be put under run to failure. Now, it can be cost effective for small equipment, yes, but very costly for complex and critical equipment. For complex and critical equipment, this can be very costly. But again, for complex and critical equipment, there is nothing you can do if you don't have the knowledge to maintain it, if you don't have the expertise to maintain it. I remember when I was working with a particular firm, a foam manufacturing company. So the people that brought the foam machine, the machine that produced this foam to the company, they are from Germany. So while they were still in Nigeria, they were coming to service the machine, you know. They will be coming to service on a schedule, preventive maintenance. But somehow the company now moved from Germany and they went back to their country and we were stuck. So anytime we want to do maintenance, we need to bring them as expert trades to come to our company to come and we'll put them in a hotel, pay their flight fare, and it was becoming crazy. So what we decided to do, because we fine, we can't be doing this every 3 months. We are bringing these people. So it will deplete our resources. So let us just be running the machine. When it fails, we will call them. Highest, let us go and get an alternative machine that will be running side by side with it. Whenever it fails, we continue with this one. We call them, we can pay a one-off flight fare and hotel bills and everything for them to come and take care of them. So run to failure can be very, very expensive for critical equipment, but there is nothing you can really do about that. Reactive maintenance has a philosophy of repair equipment when it breaks down. That is the philosophy of reactive maintenance. Like I said, it is maintenance strategy, and don't see it as not being proactive. It is a maintenance strategy, and don't see it as not being proactive. It is a maintenance strategy that can save you cost. It is a maintenance strategy that the company can adopt, and it's a maintenance strategy that you can adopt in unusual situations like the one I just highlighted about the German people and all that. So the philosophy is that you repair equipment when it breaks down. If it doesn't break down, then don't fix it. Do nothing. All right, let's move on. So elements of reactive maintenance. You respond to fault calls. You know, you allow, when there is fault, you respond to it. Identify the cause of the system failure. Localize and isolate the problem. Disassemble the system. Remove the failed part or component. Repair or replace the part or component. Reassemble the system. Okay, this is like the step-by-step things you do while adopting a run to failure maintenance strategy. You only go there when there is fault. You identify the fault and you solve the problem. You rectify the fault and you move on, and you leave it till the next time it will go bad. There is nothing you can really do in that respect. Okay, when reactive maintenance should be used. When should we use reactive maintenance? I said it before, it's when you are dealing with complex maintenance procedure, like medical equipment. Those are complex equipment. You don't want to go and toy with it. They have specialized people that maintain it. So you can't just pick your maintenance guy, the thing is not coming up. Oh yeah, come and do something. Come and electrician, come and join one wire. You can't do that, otherwise you destroy that equipment. So for complex maintenance, equipment that have complex maintenance procedure, you just put them and save your head on reactive maintenance. So that whenever it fails, yes, you now sit down. At least by then, you must have highlighted this, that, oh, this is a complex equipment that require complex maintenance procedure. So management, we need to allocate resources for this. We need to keep so amount so that when this thing fails, we can get the expert to come and fix it. So you plan that way under reactive maintenance. They're costly for PPM or other strategy. Those equipment that are costly for PPM, like I said, the light bulb, how can you put a PPM schedule around light bulb or your perimeter lights? You know, things like that. So you just waste money. Maybe you now sign a contract with a vendor that, okay, you'll be maintaining every 3 months our perimeter lights. That's waste of good money. So for those, you don't even bother yourself. Just put it under the reactive maintenance strategy. Then easy to replace components. Those ones that are easy to replace, leave it there. You know, I will still use the light bulb thing. Light bulb is not more than 500. If it dies, you replace it and move on. That's not what you want to try to maintain so that it won't go bad. Then for items that their equipment failure has minimal impact, you know, to the business, minimal impact to operations. Okay, for example, your water dispenser goes bad. Come on, it doesn't affect operation. Operation will still be going. If you want to drink water, you can get to the next office and get water. Or you buy, so it doesn't affect operations. So these are what you look at, when you are adopting the run to failure maintenance. And like I said, 80% of the facilities or 80% of the items in your asset register are under this maintenance strategy. Reactive maintenance is actually present in all maintenance strategies, as failure is not perfectly predicted. Because failure is not perfectly predicted. Even when you are doing preventive maintenance, failure is not predicted. You can still have, even within that, you can still have failure. You place your generators on preventive maintenance, your AC or your chiller on preventive maintenance. Once in a while, you still see unplanned failure, So reactive maintenance is still present in other form of maintenance strategies. Now, and also equipment still break down even after maintenance action has been performed. So advantages of this run to failure maintenance: it requires minimal staff. Like I said, if it goes bad, you just go and fix it and move on. Initial low cost. Initially, it can be low cost, especially when you are dealing with small items, but for bigger, complex items, it can be very, very high. And because of that, when you put it together, the cost for reactive maintenance strategy tend to be higher than others to some extent. Little demand on maintenance planning. You don't really need so much plan. Like I said, you do nothing. The plan for this strategy is do nothing. You just sit down, watch. If it goes bad, you fix it and you move on. But the disadvantage is that it increased labor cost. If you have to use people to do that, I remember when we were managing a particular facility of a particular company, to change bulb is around 3,000 naira to change bulb. And the cost of bulb is about 500 naira. I was like, oh, what's going on here? So if you are doing that, like often, it will increase your labor cost, because that to change bulb, you are paying the vendor 3,000 naira to just go and change that bulb, for a bulb of 500 naira. So when you do it often, it increases cost of repairs. Staff resources not efficiently used. Staff resources not efficiently used. Equipment not reliable. Frequent equipment downtime. Frequent equipment downtime for that disadvantage of this strategy. Then difficulty in controlling budgets, because you cannot really control budgets under this. You don't really. That's why when you are developing your budget and you capture a certain amount as unplanned work, management tend to question you. At the end of the day, sometimes at the end of the day, you don't exhaust that amount. Everybody will be happy. But sometimes you exhaust the amount, you are asking for more, then you'll be questioned. You ask, come on, how did you spend? You can't really control budgets. All right. Reduced life expectancy of equipment. Initial capital cost investment not minimized. Inefficient use of resources. Interference with planned works. It interferes with planned work. When you're having unplanned maintenance within planned maintenance. Okay, we want to look at the next strategy here is the preventive maintenance plan. This is planned maintenance. And like I said, if you are to manage a facility, you'll be surprised that you can have a whole lot on your asset register, but at the end is just a few items or facility or equipment or assets that will be placed on plan preventive maintenance, and they are majorly the critical assets. Now, preventive or plan maintenance is performed at a scheduled interval. You know, you need to put your, you need to draw up your schedule so that at this time you maintain at a particular interval, there are activities you need to do on that asset. For example, your generator. There are two ways you maintain the generator. Is either the run time, you know, the run hours, or you want to place it on maybe a monthly or quarterly thing, depending on, you know, depending on the failure mode, depending on, you know, what you have, you know, put down to do. So it's about schedule. The preventive maintenance plan is about schedule. Then you have the measure taken to ensure equipment function. You know, there are some equipment that you need to always do maintenance on them, schedule maintenance on them so that they will be available. I remember, you know, while working with a particular establishment, sometimes our generator, even when there is power from national grid, at some point we'll go and, you know, start the generator and allow it to run for over 2-3 hours, you know, just to make sure that it's available. We carry out the regular maintenance on that generator, whether we are using it or not. So, because it's already on schedule. But again, it is cost intensive because you are paying for that's what you are doing. You are paying for that maintenance you are doing, you know. So you could have said, okay, let's wait, we are not using it now. When we use it, we'll do the maintenance, but no. So it is cost intensive. Okay, it adopts a time-based or run rate approach. A time-based or run rate approach based on replacing equipment after long use. You know, when you do this kind of maintenance, it's like for mainly equipment with moving parts. So what you do is to schedule, you know, do a maintenance schedule at planned interval so that you can now begin to look at those moving parts, the ones that are wearing, tearing, and you are replacing, you know, to ensure that that equipment will, you know, deliver on its useful life. Okay, preventive maintenance seeks to reduce unplanned downtime. It seeks to reduce unplanned downtime. If you do not, for equipment that you need to maintain, that you must put a schedule around, and you fail to do that, you'll be having unplanned downtime. So preventive maintenance seeks to reduce unplanned downtime and repair costs, but it may not always detect failures before it occurs, since the approach is not condition monitoring. As in, even when you are doing preventive maintenance, it doesn't mean that you will it doesn't mean you will always identify the fault before it occurs. Sometimes after doing maintenance, equipment can still fail, you know, because this kind of maintenance does not take cognizance of the monitoring aspect of that equipment. You didn't put things in place to monitor, and that will lead us to the next strategy, which is the predictive maintenance, that you can monitor a particular equipment, and you can, with your data that you have generated, you evaluate, you analyze your data, you can say, okay, this equipment is due, let us fix it. Otherwise, if we continue to run it like this, in the next 2 days or 3 days, it will fail. It focuses, but preventive maintenance focuses on performing pre-scheduled maintenance. The maintenance that has been scheduled, just follow through. Whether the equipment is good, whether it's still working or not, just follow through. But you see, doing that, you are wasting resources, you know, money is going and all that. But because that must happen, because when you are entering into an agreement, your SLA with your client is saying, oh, this thing needs to be maintained quarterly. You have to stick to it. Whether you think it is due or not. So that is the downside of the preventive maintenance strategy, but it's a strategy that we must adopt. And to adopt that, you must understand the equipment you are about to put under that strategy. Like I said, one kind of equipment that you can put under that strategy is the equipment with moving parts, wear and tear. All right. Okay, so we are going to take 5 minutes break and just process what we have listened to, and when we come back, maybe we'll take 1 or 2 questions before we take the next strategy, which is the predictive maintenance. So just take your time, process it. If you have any question, just quickly we look at it when we come back, and we enter into the next module. Thank you very much. Can proceed. So like I said before we went on break, if you have any question, so we can proceed. Like I said when we went on break, if you have any question at this point, on whatever we've learned so far, we can ask the question so that we can talk through it before we enter the next module. Anybody? So I take it that everybody understands okay. Somebody? Okay, go ahead. Samuel Ekemini.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Samuel.
Yes, sir. You probably may not be able to see my face though, but
okay.
Okay, so my thought is this. I know that reactive maintenance is a part of the maintenance we have, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but this reactive maintenance, I kind of feel that the lesson boils down to, it's all summed up to cost reduction, and then not looking at the sustainability of the built environment, the continuity of operations itself. So if you're looking at we have to wait for a particular equipment to run down, like to fail, before we put in measures to maintain that equipment, to even service it, then we probably may be having downtime regularly, like you saw in your reactive maintenance. Even in your preventive maintenance, if you're also looking at it, okay, in preventive maintenance, we are looking at cost factors like the expense we put into place in maintaining a particular equipment, and eventually it does go bad. Obviously, nothing lasts for a very long period of time. It will definitely go bad, but the what I want to say exactly, the measures you put in place to ensure that this equipment is continuing in its service, rendering a particular service to the user without over time regularly going down. I don't know if you get my point.
I understand. I'm just trying to I understand what you're trying to say. Like I said before, the moment you think of maintenance or of any equipment, or you are given a facility, the first thing you want to do is to put a schedule around a maintenance schedule around that facility to maintain it so that it will reach its useful life. But we are saying again that this strategy of run to failure is a strategy that is deployed for certain type of assets. And there are factors you look at, there are things you look at in that asset for you to deploy that run to failure type of maintenance. Let us take, for example, your chairs, the chairs in your home
offices,
right now.
Yes, the
offices, yes. you can't put a maintenance schedule around that. Do you understand? You can't say, okay, I'm going to draw up a schedule that every end of the month, we'll go around and the tightening the chair and all that. Yes, you can go around and be shaking the seat. Okay, this one is shaky. Let us tighten it. Fine. But you can't say you want to open up this chair, loosen or clean something and do whatever maintenance. No. You can't do that. You are wasting resources. And if you have to deploy a vendor to do that, how can you be paying for that kind of thing? You wait when the chair is bad, you either replace it or you repair it. It's as simple as that.
Yes,
you
I get.
Understand?
I get.
So this kind of maintenance, like I said, is mainly you look at, how the failure mode of that particular thing, you look at how it works and everything before you deploy this kind of maintenance. And like I said, it's for mainly small things like your light bulb. You can't put the maintenance around your light bulb. You can't put the maintenance around your printer. You can't put a schedule preventive maintenance around things like that. Even your borehole, even your pumps. The highest you can do is to put a backup there. You can't say every month I'm going to check the pump, I'm going to loosen it, open it up, clean that. You won't do that. So the best you can put here is just to put a backup. When that one fails, you replace it with the backup, take that one out, you fix it, you bring it back. So it is a strategy that is deployed based on the facility you are managing. I said something about the transformer. That's a very high equipment that has a very high maintenance procedure, so to say, and we don't have the kind of expertise. So if you now say, oh, you are putting a maintenance strategy around that, you will cause problem for yourself because you might go and touch the component and that will be it, and you cannot fix it. So what you do is to put it on run to failure for equipment that you don't have specialty, equipment that you need to bring people from abroad to come and do. So you put it at that. I'm not saying that, oh, if you can do something about it, fine. But if you see that you cannot do anything about it, then you don't have to put it around to failure.
Noted, sir. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions so that we can proceed? All right, fine. We'll quickly look at the. Okay, Theophilus. By your day, Theophilus. Okay, can go ahead, Theophilus.
It's around the maintenance schedule. When you are speaking of the maintenance schedule, my mind go to logbook. Is it the same thing as keeping logbook as a maintenance schedule?
No, it's not keeping logbook. It's not keeping logbook. Now, when we enter maintenance planning, we are going to talk about that. But I'll quickly, number one, when you are maintaining a facility, the very first thing, and which is that's something every facilities manager must know, is that you must maintain asset register. And in your asset register, you have different assets on that register. So let's take, for example, your generator.
Yes, sir.
You need to create a schedule. That schedule will show you that we need to maintain or we need to carry out servicing on this generator every three months if you are using the time-based maintenance approach. The time-based, you will say, okay, every 3 months, every quarter, you are going to service this generator, and you will list out the things you need to do. You will list out the activities you need to carry out on that generator every quarter. So it is not logbook. Your logbook is more of when you are doing your inspection or management facility inspection, you go out and you are picking up defects, you are picking up non-conformance, you are picking up faults. So you put it in your logbook and later now draw a plan around it on how to close out those gaps. That's logbook. But a maintenance schedule is something you sit down and you plan based on your maintenance or based on the manual of that equipment. Do you understand? for example, your chiller now, it has a manual, and in that manual, they will tell you, do this at so time. So with that manual, you can now draw out a schedule that, oh, every 3 months or every 1 month, this is what I'll be doing. And you now write out the activities you are going to do. All right?
Okay. Is it the schedule that make you know the time for you to do service, or your logbook time that you put time?
No. It's the schedule that will let you see. You can put, if you have a logbook and you want to say, okay, fine, there are some establishments that have logbook for maintenance.
Okay.
So in their logbook for maintenance, they are very written what to do and when to do it. Do you understand? So that will be like a guide. If you have that, fine. But if you are in a place whereby you don't have a logbook for maintenance that's already highlighted what you need to do, you need to create a schedule around it. Do you understand?
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, I see another hand up. Dania.
Good evening.
Okay. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I want to quickly ask a question to clear my all the ideas of what you've taught us so far about the reactive maintenance, which can also be called what is it called again? The thing is
run to failure.
Yeah, plan to failure. Yeah.
Run to failure.
Yeah, run to failure. Sorry. The thing is, what you're trying to say is that equipment in the facility can actually be prioritized based on scale of preference in terms of maintenance.
Yes.
Okay. So it means the run to failure strategy of maintenance can be done on equipment that cannot directly affect the organization operations.
Yes.
Okay. So it means any items that falls to that run to failure. Okay. It means that all the items that falls under that run to failure can be paused.
Okay.
Even if there's no cost, even if there's no resources like financial resources to maintain them at that particular point.
No, they can't be paused. No, they cannot be paused. See, you've said something that's very clear. One, equipment that will not affect operations, you understand, can be placed on run to failure. But there are equipment that can also be placed under run to failure, but must be treated as emergency. You understand?
Okay.
If there is a failure, pump now, the pump that is taking water to a 10-story building or whatever fails, and it's under run to failure. You can't say because it's under run to failure, you need the equipment. And no. The thing is this: it is a strategy, and for when you are putting whatever equipment in that strategy, there are other requirements. It's either you provide resources, to back up your claim of putting that equipment in that strategy. I said something before. When you are choosing a strategy, it must align with company strategy. There must be resources. Yes. There must be resources. If I'm putting pump now as run to failure, my strategy is run to failure maintenance strategy. But I also know that I need to tell management that they must put available resources. One, for a backup pump. Two, for maybe for labor in case my technician is not on site and the thing happened at night and I have to reach out to a plumber in the area that will go and fix it. I have to pay that person. So you are thinking, as you are drawing up your strategy, you are also thinking of a solution. The run to failure is, it says do nothing, but it also means that while doing nothing, you must have prepared, to take care of the problem. Do you understand?
All right. So being prepared, taking care of the problem makes it proactive, right?
It's not okay. Makes it proactive in terms
Yeah.
of you have made provision for that.
Yeah.
The proactive part of that is that you have made provision.
Make provision for that.
I want to give you an example. We went to make a quote for we wanted to manage a particular apartment, like about 60 apartments, So they have lift, they have water treatment plant, they have a lot of these critical facilities. So we capture all the critical on preventive maintenance. But we made a mistake because we never take into cognizance the fact that we need to budget for unplanned maintenance, for unplanned breakdown. Because even though this lift is under preventive maintenance and we are giving fund for that, there is a possibility for the lift to even fail when you are even doing a planned maintenance. And you need resources to, you need money, you need resources to fix it, you need spares to fix that. So we never took cognizance of that part of the budget. Do you know, after budgeting and now we needed to give the occupants their service charge for the year, we calculate and, divided it by 60 something and gave to say this is what you'll be paying at the end of the year. We started running the contract. We realized that halfway we are already, we have finished the money for maintenance. Why? The lift keep breaking down and we are calling the lift people to come and fix it. The pump for the swimming pool keep going bad. We didn't have a budget for that. We are now going to the preventive, the money we kept for preventive maintenance. So that's the thinking around it. So when you are adopting run to failure, you must quickly highlight the things that you are putting there. For instance, if you put a bulb into run to failure, which is exactly where it should be, then you must have spare. You understand? Then you have spare on ground, to take care of that. So when you are drawing up your budget to present to management, you say, okay, this is the amount for unplanned maintenance. Okay, we need to keep like 10 million for unplanned maintenance. Yes, sometimes it's difficult to explain it, but you need to do that because at the end of the day, you want to have resources to deal with that. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, welcome. So let us quickly look at elements of preventive maintenance. Component reliability, manufacturer's specification. Sometimes the manufacturer's specification informs of the kind of maintenance we need to do. That one, you are not arguing it. It will be in their manual. Oh, this thing should be done so time. This thing should be done. So you don't argue it. So when you are given such an equipment to maintain, first thing you need to go through the manual and highlight all what you need to maintain. Acceptable standard, industry best practice. There are some equipment that have industrial best practice. When you go everywhere, they'll tell you this is how it should be done, so that it will reach its useful life, So those are things you look at before you put a particular asset in preventive, deploy a preventive maintenance strategy for some particular asset. Keeping equipment maintenance record. You need equipment maintenance record. We will discuss that in our next class. Scheduling equipment replacement at the end of its useful life. You need to schedule equipment replacement at the end of its useful life. But sometimes we exceed useful life, we are still maintaining it, we are just spending money, wasting money, and that's why if you have a good maintenance schedule and a good maintenance record, you can pinpoint an equipment that has reached its useful life, because the rate of repair, the rate of unplanned maintenance of that equipment will inform you that, come on, we need to changes. By the time you are repairing an equipment, and by the time you put together all the cost of repair and the labor cost and everything, is enough for you to go and get a new one. You advise management, oh, that this particular chiller has been giving us problem every month, and this is what we have spent, you know, repairing this chiller. Let us take it out and get a new one. Okay? Now, maintaining inventories of reliable components. You have a reliable component. You have a reliable component, you maintain inventory of them, of critical components. You know, you have inventory of them, of components scheduled for replacement. You have inventory of components that are scheduled for replacement, and you plan to get them. Analyzing equipment requirements, specification of equipment operation. You need to know how that equipment operates, so that when you are carrying out your preventive maintenance, you schedule it around that operation, so that you will not disrupt operation unnecessarily of that equipment. Specification of equipment performance. You look at the performance, and when you are maintaining, you want to evaluate, is this equipment performing optimally, or are we just spending money maintaining the equipment? Reviewing equipment maintenance record. At the end of the day, you want to review the equipment maintenance record. Like I said before, this review will help you to know whether you can advise management that, look, this equipment is costing us so much, let us take it out, let us get a new one, you know, or this equipment, you know, we can still use this equipment for the next 5 years and all that. Your equipment, your records of inspection, your servicing record, the frequency of replacing parts. You know, if you have replaced this part like frequently, is either you begin to, you know, call your supplier and question, are you actually giving me the right quality of this part? Because we are replacing this thing like often. The only way you can do that is when you have good record keeping. So the preventive maintenance is structured. Number one, the preventive maintenance, number one, you must have the activities you want to do as per that equipment. Then you must have record. Remember, the run to failure, you don't have a plan for it. You know, you can have record that, oh, this TV has gone bad. It was bad last month. Now it's gone bad again. But you don't have a plan for it. For preventive maintenance, you have a plan even before you started it, and you have records of what you have done. Okay. Okay. The advantages and disadvantages, I mean, be very clear. Now, one advantage is that it reduces the risk of unexpected equipment failure. When equipment in this category, when they are properly managed, it will reduce the risk of unexpected failure. I'm not saying that there won't be unexpected failure, but it will be reduced, because when you are carrying out maintenance, what you are trying to do is to ensure that the right component is in place, the right oil is used, the right this, the right that, everything is working. You know, that way you will minimize the risks of unexpected equipment failure. Also, this kind of maintenance optimize performance. It optimizes performance of the equipment. You know, when you place your generator and you are maintaining your generator very well, you see that you won't be hearing unnecessary noise, you know, and you know the supply will be stable and all that. So it optimizes performance. Now, it reduces equipment downtime. It's just the same thing as the risk of unexpected equipment failure. It reduces equipment downtime. If you put this maintenance plan, you deploy it and you follow through, it reduces equipment downtime. Fewer repairs emergency, just like reduce the risk of unexpected equipment failure. You know, repairs emergency, you don't just in the middle of the night, they say the generator has shut down. or the chiller has gone bad, you know, something like that. That will be reduced when you are doing a proper preventive maintenance on those equipment. Lower unplanned equipment downtime, extend equipment useful life, extend equipment useful life. We are not saying it's going to increase the lifespan of the equipment too, but it will extend, as in you can optimize the use of that equipment. Keeps equipment in good working condition, preventive maintenance. This strategy keeps equipment in good working condition, keeps equipment safe. When you do preventive maintenance on an equipment, often there is very low risk of hazard as a result of that equipment. So this strategy, you know, keeps equipment safe. Improvement in system reliability. Anytime you start that generator, it will start. You know, anytime you turn the key, it will start. You can't go there and you keep cranking and cranking. No, because your maintenance is top notch, it will work. Then again, decrease in cost of parts replacement. Better inventory management of parts and spares. You have a better inventory management of parts and spares. You know, decrease the cost of parts replacement. When you maintain equipment very well, you know, you will, for instance, moving objects as in moving parts, and you tend to apply the necessary oil, the necessary servicing of that equipment. It will reduce that cost of parts replacement. You won't be going to replace parts all the time. But if you don't do that, you see there will be wear and tear, and then you replace parts. So cost savings of about 12% to 18% compared to reactive maintenance. So there is cost savings of about 12 to 10% to 18% compared to reactive maintenance. You know, like reactive maintenance, apart from the fact that, especially for very high equipment with high maintenance procedure, with very high maintenance procedure, you tend to spend more with a reactive maintenance. But because there's nothing you can do about it, that's the only strategy you can adopt, then that's what you will do. Then the disadvantages is higher demand of resources. You need resources, you need personnel, you need to put personnel around what you need to do. Higher maintenance cost, which means that even if that thing is working, even if that thing is still good, that equipment is still good, because you have put a maintenance schedule around it, you must follow through that schedule. Sometimes you go to change the oil of a generator, you will see that the oil is can still be used, can still have another 200 hours run. But because you have put a schedule around it, and there's a vendor that is that is managing that contract, you can't tell the person not to, you know, change the oil. You will change the oil and take the oil home and maybe sell it and maybe refine it and do one thing and go and use it. But you must stick to it because that is the plan. Okay? No consideration given to technical conditions. No consideration given to technical conditions. Like I said, you don't want to, even if the condition of that equipment is still okay, but because it is, you need to carry out that maintenance, because you already schedule it, you need to, you know, do it. Replacement of parts that are still functioning. Like I said, you replace parts that are still functioning. You know, for you, maybe in-house technician doing that, you can say, oh, this thing is still working. Okay, we can still use it. But if it's something you've contracted out, vendor will tell you that this thing is still working. This part is still working. The vendor is going to change it. And that is cost, you know, to the company. Then maintenance activity are not prioritized. You can't prioritize maintenance activity. Equipment still fails after maintenance. So equipment still can still fail after maintenance. Okay. Then unnecessary maintenance, like we said, Sometimes you don't need to clean that, you don't need to carry out the maintenance activity, but because you have put a maintenance plan, you have put it under this strategy, then you have to do it. All right, the next one is our predictive maintenance. I love this strategy because it makes you more professional, even though you need more resources to adopt this strategy, but it's a more professional strategy. Same as condition monitoring. So like I said, what is monitoring? Monitoring is generating data from a particular activity. So this maintenance strategy adopts that. You are maintaining a particular machine, equipment, by generating data. You can attach other devices that will give you this data, so that at the end of the day, you now analyze your data and now say, okay, we can do this at this point. It is beautiful. We don't want to use a maintenance strategy that will tell you every month do a particular thing, even when that thing is unnecessary. Carry out a particular maintenance, even when that particular maintenance is unnecessary. But this predictive maintenance strategy, you know, is all about monitoring, generating data, and from your data, you can make informed decision on that facility. Okay, the first point there is the process of evaluating equipment condition. You look at, you evaluate equipment condition, and you can say, based on this data generated, based on these reviews, based on this result of analysis, we should carry out a maintenance on this particular equipment. Like I said, it is data driven. It is data driven. So it's not something anybody can just sit and say, okay, let's go and do it. It's data driven, suited for critical and complex equipment. Like I said, this one is suited for critical and complex equipment. If you have critical equipment, you know, like panel and all that, where you look at the panel and it's giving you a lot of readings and all that, you need to look at the readings, you need to you need to record the readings, and at some point after analyzing the readings, you now said, okay, we need to carry out maintenance because this equipment has reached so time. So for critical equipment and complex equipment, this is a strategy that we can adopt, but it depends on the organization. Do they have the resources? Because these resources at first is capital intensive, but after some time, after being deployed and in use, you see that it now reduces your cost. Unlike the run to failure, but at first it looks capital, you know, cost, very low cost. But you now see that on the long run, you are spending so much. Okay. Now, performing maintenance on basis of predicted defects. You perform maintenance based on you predict that, oh, there will be a defect, you know, maybe in the nearest future, there will be a defect, to perform maintenance. And this, hello, mute your mic, please. Okay. Okay. Then allow comparison with established standard of measure. You have standard where you compare your data with. So generally, predictive maintenance is about generating data from, you know, an equipment. Now, it's just like somebody that will just, you know, you come into the office or to your facility and you are hearing a particular noise from your generator, you know, or you are hearing a particular sound from your chiller, and you say, no, okay, this sound, you need to work on this generator, otherwise, you know, there will be problem. That came because over time, you have studied and monitored that generator such that you know that even from the sound you are hearing, you know that something is not right and something can go wrong in the nearest, future, and you now take a decision. So it's all about generating data. It's all about, monitoring and reviewing and evaluating. But like I said, this monitoring comes with, sophisticated technology or equipment or devices that can help you get your monitoring right. All right. So then we have identify imminent failure prior to becoming critical. With this, you can identify imminent failure prior to becoming critical. Interpret indicators of equipment performance. You have key performance indicator on those equipment. And when you are seeing that, a particular indicator is being, you are picking up indicator, a particular part, you can now say, okay, this equipment, needs to be maintained. They should take an action about this equipment. Deal with equipment degradation. You monitor equipment degradation. You see that, okay, you use this equipment for the next 5 years. This is where we are. If we use it in the next 10 years, this is where we will be. So you can take informed decision whether to change the equipment or whether to, do something about it. Maintenance is not carried out based on predetermined dates, but based on the actual condition of the equipment. So in this strategy, you don't have a predetermined date, unlike the preventive maintenance, where you have a predetermined date that on the 1st of October, you will carry out maintenance or service this equipment. No, this one is based on the condition of the equipment. This implies that maintenance is performed at the ideal time and resources not wasted on unnecessary work. It means when you have your records, your data, you analyze it, and you come up with the analyzed data, maintenance will be carried out at the ideal time. So you are not wasting resources, you are not paying for labor, you are unnecessarily, and you are not wasting resources in terms of part unnecessarily. So you do it as when due. Convenient scheduling of maintenance activity is made possible by predictive maintenance. So with predictive maintenance, you can conveniently schedule your maintenance. You can conveniently say, okay, because of this data that we have, because of this result that we are getting, you take out, for example, you take out your oil from a generator, and don't use the generator, for example, you go and test it and say, okay, the oil is still good. You continue to run the generator. After sometimes you take it again, you test the oil, and you come up with a result and say, oh, it's still okay. We can still run for another 1 hour. You are generating data, and with that data, you can take a decision. And maybe you take the oil again for testing and say, oh no, we have the usefulness of that oil is no more there. So you need to change. So that way, you are not just changing oil because you schedule to change it every month, but you are changing it based on the data you generated, based on your test, based on the results that you have, based on your analysis, based on the condition of the assets. All right. So types of predictive maintenance: sensors, meter, videos. These are how do I put it now? These are equipment or devices used in monitoring in order to take decision on predictive maintenance. You have sensors, the sensor will tell, oh, this thing is going bad. You have to do it, You have the meters. When you have the reading on meters that will tell you, okay, we are at 25%, we are 50%, at 25%, we need to maintain, we need to carry out a particular activity. Algorithms, acoustical analysis, sonic monitoring, infrared monitoring and analysis. Okay, these are, equipment or devices used in monitoring. when you want to deploy a preventive maintenance strategy. Now, if you look at that graph there, you see that corrective maintenance have the highest cost of maintenance. So it's like 10 times predictive maintenance, while preventive maintenance is like 5 times. Because predictive maintenance only tells you when you need to maintain. It will tell you when you need to maintain and not just put up a maintenance plan and start running it and start spending money even when the parts are not to be changed. You just have to change it because you have a schedule. All right? Type of predictive maintenance, okay? Vibration analysis, thermography, viscosity test, to test the viscosity. All these things have standard. When you test, you compare it to the standard. If it is not meeting standard, then you take action. So it's just the same thing we are talking about. So why use preventive maintenance? Why use preventive maintenance strategy? Allows planning for and scheduling of corrective maintenance. So when you want to do corrective maintenance, okay, when you want to do corrective maintenance, with preventive maintenance, you can plan for corrective maintenance. As in, you don't necessarily wait. It tells you when to carry out your corrective maintenance. Preventive, and remember, corrective maintenance is what you do to ensure that a particular failure does not happen again. So this predictive maintenance, that's all about generation of data, will tell you how to schedule corrective maintenance. Prevent unplanned failure of equipment. It prevents future unplanned failure of equipment, because when you see that, oh, this equipment is like 20% remaining for the equipment to fail, you quickly, schedule a maintenance. So that unplanned failure, you have taken care of that. Then reduce purchase of parts, of spare parts. Like I said, because you have a schedule of preventive maintenance strategy, when you are deploying preventive maintenance strategy, and because you have a schedule that you have to carry out that maintenance activity, and you need to change parts, whether the parts are good or not, you still have to change it because you have a schedule, especially when you are using vendors. Then this kind of predictive maintenance reduce that. It reduces maintenance cost, improvement in maintenance planning, increase system availability and reliability. It increases system availability and reliability. As in, whenever you want to use that system, you can have access to it and you can use it to function. And not just that, it is reliable, as in it will give you what you want. Maintenance is performed while equipment is in service. So equipment can be in service while the maintenance is performed, because you don't wait for that equipment to break down completely before you take care of it. Eliminate or reduce service disruption. It can eliminate or reduce service disruption. Allows for early detection of problems. With predictive maintenance, you can quickly detect problem. You can detect problem when it's just starting. All right. So maintenance is performed when it's necessary or needed, which is in contrast with preventive maintenance, when equipment is maintained, whether it is needed or not. So we are saying here that predictive maintenance, the strategy ensures that maintenance is performed when it is necessary or needed. So in comparison with preventive maintenance strategy, preventive maintenance, you just do it whether it is needed or not. So, but when you are advising organization on these different strategies, then you must be able to convince them, to let them know the strategy that is best. But again, you should also consider the organization's resources, their objective, what the budget is, before you deploy a particular strategy. So these are the advantages. In fact, the main thing is that it has cost savings over preventive maintenance. That is between 8% and 12%. Cost savings over preventive maintenance is between 8% to 12%. So this can save you cost. But remember, initially, for you to get all those devices, the sensor, the meter, the this, the that, to install, it might be very cost intensive. But on the long run, you see that it will reduce your maintenance cost. So advantage is that it has fewer breakdowns, reduce equipment downtime, increase in productivity, increase component operational life availability, allows for preemptive corrective action, allows for decrease in cost for parts and labor, better product quality, improve worker and environmental safety. You don't just jump into it, you plan towards it. But the disadvantage, like I said, high initial startup costs is not easy. And that's why you see many organizations, they hardly adopt this strategy because why would I be buying a meter to be checking, sensor to be doing this, thermograph or whatever? Why would I be buying all that? Let us just put it on preventive maintenance. Let's just be doing it, Saving potentials, saving potential not readily seen. Increase investment in diagnostic equipment, increase investment in staff training. So you need to train staff. When you are deploying this strategy, you know that you are bringing in new technology, you are bringing new things. So you need to train staff to, be able to apply or to follow through in this strategy. So 5 is the reliability center maintenance. Like I said, the RCM is not a strategy, but it's a framework that brings these 3 strategies together, and maybe you have 100 assets in your asset register. You can now say, okay, I put 80 in a run to failure. I put 15 to preventive maintenance. I'll put 5 in a reliability and in predictive maintenance. So you begin to look at it. If I move 10 from the 5 to predictive maintenance, I will save cost. So what you are looking at is how you will use reliability center maintenance to save costs for the organization while maintaining the requirement of that maintenance, while maintaining the requirement of that facility, while maintaining the requirement, the reliability of that facility. So this framework is cost center. Is also a cost center. It reduces cost. It's called the economics of maintenance. It's called economics of maintenance. Here you are, moving your facilities around the 3 kind of strategies, so that at the end of the day, you want to reduce costs for your organization. All right, reliability center maintenance, combination of more than one maintenance strategy determines a system maintenance requirement. Optimization of a system maintainability. You optimize maintainability of a system. Determine the most effective maintenance strategy. So when you have your RCM framework, you want to look at your asset. I want to see the best way to manage that asset. And sometimes you can even combine 2 strategies. Why? Because what you are trying to achieve is 1, the requirement of that equipment is intact, the reliability of that equipment is intact, but you are also reducing costs. So that's why I say it's the economics of what? Of maintenance. Okay, maintenance activities are characterized by use of maintenance life cycle view, continuous process improvement, keep improving your process, periodic evaluation of maintenance activity to know if you are getting results from the kind of maintenance you are adopting, use of root cause failure analysis, communication of changes in maintenance procedure. So this framework take into consideration all these things. So at the end of the day, you are able to say, oh, for this asset, let us use run to failure. We think it will save us money if we use run to failure. Or for this asset, we think if we use predictive maintenance, it will save us money. So RCM like integrates the three kind of maintenance to give us, a better result. So as a facility manager, this is something that after even when you take this course, you need to go back and look at what you are maintaining. Today I was talking to a facility manager that came for interview, and I was asking, oh, how can you maintain a facility? If you are giving this material, how can you maintain from start to finish? And the guy just started saying, okay, I will carry out inspection, I'll do PPM, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll repair, I just said, come on, you are a facilities manager. You are not a technician. You are not one plumber. You are called a facility manager. You are supposed to give me a structured way of managing your facility. You start from the beginning. You define your assets. You know your assets and the condition of your asset. You begin to look at what strategy of maintenance are you going to put this particular asset. That's what you should be telling me. So that if I am your customer and I'm asking you a question, you'll be able to narrow down, your answer to the specific answer to my question. Don't tell me you do PPM. Any technician knows that you do PPM now. Anybody knows that you do repairs and you do inspection. But as a facility man, you give a structured way. Remember, you must always take into consideration the strategy of the company, the corporate objective of the company. So we need to talk that way. And that's where this reliability-centered maintenance comes in. So when you are making your presentation, you are giving management options. Oh, if we do this, this is what we'll save. If we do this, this is what we'll save. If we do this, we'll spend more in the beginning, but at the end, we'll be saving this much. So it shows that you are a professional and not just a technician that will tell me, oh, I'll do inspection, I'll do this. Yes, that's why you know that you know what to, the technician, they know what to expect and know what to maintain and how, but they don't know why. And that's where the facility manager comes in, because in the why, you are also looking at your organization objective. So reliability center maintenance, a framework that enables the definition of a complete maintenance regime, a framework that enables the definition of a complete maintenance regime, ensure that the assets continue to do what their usual users require in their present operating context, ensure that asset is delivering on what it's supposed to deliver on. Systematic approach to evaluate a facility's equipment and resources to best meet the two. Oh, what is it? Okay. Systematic approach to evaluate a facility's equipment and resources to best meet the two and result in a high degree of facility reliability and cost effectiveness. Like I said, this framework is focused on what? Facility reliability and cost effectiveness. Closely match resources to needs while improving reliability and decreasing costs. You match your resources to the needs. Highly reliant on predictive maintenance, but also recognizes that maintenance activity on equipment that is inexpensive and unimportant to facility reliability may best be left to a reactive approach. This reliability center, when you begin to adopt it, when you begin to use it, you see that it is highly reliant on a predictive maintenance. But again, because of resources, because of resources, because that's the main thing, availability of specialized individual to carry out that maintenance, you see that some facility will naturally fall into the reactive approach. So this is the framework, corrective element application, small parts, and for corrective, which is more like the reactive maintenance, these are mainly for small parts and equipment. Non-critical equipment will fall under this in the framework. Equipment unlikely to fail will fall under this in the framework. Redundant equipment that you are not using. How can you go and do a preventive maintenance schedule on equipment you are not using? That's a waste of money and waste of resources. You know? So then preventive element on the framework, that equipment subject to wear, like I said, moving parts, equipment with moving parts, they are subject to wear and tear, so they should be under preventive elements application. Consumable equipment, that is equipment that you need to replace. You have to replace, frequently. Then equipment with known failure patterns. Equipment with known failure patterns should be placed under preventive maintenance. Manufacturer recommendations. Okay, manufacturer of that equipment will tell you from their manual that, oh, this is how you must take care of your equipment. Then for the predictive element application, these are equipment with random failure patterns. Equipment with random failure patterns. You can't really say, oh, this equipment will fail tomorrow. It can fail. It's supposed to fail maybe in 6 months, but in 3 months you're having issues. So what you do, you put monitoring device around the equipment to monitor, and then you can take informed decision based on the data that you have generated. Then critical equipment that are critical equipment, you don't need to be touching such equipment anyhow. The best thing to do is to put devices that can give you readings, like maybe electrical panels, that will give you indicators, and that can, at some point say, oh, we need to work on this, we need to change this, we need to do something about this equipment. Equipment not subject to wear. Equipment not subject to wear can be placed on predictive maintenance. It's not wearing, but physically you are not seeing what is going bad, but if you have monitoring device, sensor, and other things, you'll be able to know that, oh, this equipment is due for maintenance. System which failure may be induced by incorrect preventive maintenance. We said this before. There are some systems that when you put a corrective maintenance around it, you will end up, spoiling the system, destroying the system, because maybe you don't have the expertise for that kind of maintenance. So where you are not sure of the expertise, or where is a very critical equipment, what you do is just put it in the predictive maintenance. Hereby you have devices that can give you reading and all that. So advantage of the reliability center maintenance. Advantages of this framework is that cost of maintenance is reduced, yes, because when you play around the 3 types of maintenance, you will find the one that is best. Remember, the focus of this framework is that it, maintain reliability, maintain requirements, but reduce costs. So cost of maintenance is reduced, reliability and efficiency is guaranteed, improve safety, performance, eliminate unnecessary maintenance, minimize frequency of overhauls. All these things are directed. All these things are directed to what? To cost savings. Reduce probability of sudden failures. Incorporate root cause analysis. You know, in this, you have root cause analysis. You'll be able to ask the why, the 5 whys, you know, why this thing happened and the kind of corrective maintenance that you can, you know, put in place. Knowledge of equipment condition. You're able to know the equipment condition and decide on the strategy to adopt. Data is vital for asset management. Like I said, it is all about generating like a predictive maintenance when you generate the data. Focus on critical system components, increase equipment availability. By the time you use this framework, you increase your equipment availability. Then disadvantages, significant high startup costs. We always say this, you know, the startup cost for this is very, very high. It's like somebody installing solar panel in the house. It's very, very high. But in the long run, after some years, you see that you begin to have a gain in that. But where are you going to get that kind of money to start up, you know, to start up that strategy, to deploy that strategy? So organization will look at it. Okay, are we ready to spend this kind of money? And then maybe in 5 years' time, we begin to get returns. You know, I will just continue with what we are doing, and then direct our fund to other things, you know, to other business need. Okay, saving potentials not readily seen. Okay, total owning and maintenance costs not considered can have significant startup costs, training, equipment, etc. So you need, of course, significant startup costs. There will be training. You need equipment to put in place and all that. Savings potential not readily seen by management. That is, the potential of saving money in this framework is not readily seen. So it's difficult for you to convince management that this thing that you want to do is going to save us cost. No, because they are looking at the startup cost and they are also looking at the bottom line. So they want to, you know, you have a hard time convincing management to adopt this framework, because this framework is comprised of the 3 strategies. And you know that putting in place the predictive, for example, is very cost intensive. Then additional cost of ownership not factored. Additional cost of ownership not factored. You bring in this equipment, you already have the cost of ownership. Deploying this framework and the strategy you intend to, you know, do is increasing your cost of ownership. So at first you won't see it, but you now begin to see, oh, this thing is costing us more. But like I said, it's still a startup thing. Questions, and then we close for today. So anybody want to go? Okay, I have a hand there. Faith.
Yes, good evening. Thanks for your training session. We truly enjoyed everything. Thanks so much. So quick question.
Okay.
Under what circumstance or environment or business strategy, company objective, whatever, that may make a facility manager advise the management that it is better to go for breakdown maintenance than preventative maintenance?
Okay. So, like I said, there are equipments that that are highly okay. For example, now like I'll still use the simple and the simple example, the light bulb thing. To maintain the light bulb, it is obvious. You can't tell management to do a preventive maintenance around light bulb, because those are like consumables. Those are like one-off things. So the best approach, the strategy for this is to use the run to failure. Do you understand? So it depends on, like I said, before you carry out maintenance on any, before you adopt any particular maintenance strategy, you must understand the equipment. You must understand, you know, the failure mode of that equipment. Is it an equipment that can stay for a very long time without being used? For example, equipment that you have in your facility and you are not using it, maybe use it once in a while when there is an event. You cannot advise management to do a preventive maintenance on such equipment. You understand? It's your duty to tell management that because this equipment, we don't use it often, you know, so let's keep it at run to failure maintenance. Faith, did you get that?
No, yes, thank you. But to put it in proper perspective, look at this scenario. Look at the banking sector, for example. We know that banks, you know, let's forget about what's happening to our ATM machine. You go there out of service and whatever. That's rubbish. We know that. They're supposed to be 24-hour service on all our ATM machine. Let's say a bank that is sound and knows what it's doing, that wants to maintain a 24/7 ATM machine.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Now, and that's the objective. That's the objective of the branch manager, or maybe overall objective of the bank. Now, they don't want any. They want a zero downtime. Zero. In fact, -0 if possible. Now, if my facility manager suggests to them, advises the management and say, look, rather than go for preventive method that will make us to go shut down and do maintenance and all that, and then we'll be looking for backup here and there, why don't we go for breakdown maintenance? Well, of course, I'm having a standby there. Immediately it breaks down, we switch to the second standby equipment, and then there will be sort of seamless operation. Does it sound reckless on the part of
No. It's good. You understand? You see, number one, the requirement of the bank is that we want 24 hours running of this thing, which means that they don't want any downtime. You understand? They want 24 hours runtime of this ATM or whatever. So they don't want any downtime. So if you are deploying the reactive maintenance strategy, it means you are also telling them that they must provide resources to back up that, so that when this one fails, you switch to the other one and you take that one to repair. But again, you realize that the frequency of use of that particular ATM machine can prompt a failure. You understand? Can prompt a failure. So you are also looking at okay, if I tell them to adopt the reactive maintenance, what as in putting the backup for that ATM, what cost am I going to save? Because it all boils down to the cost saving. You understand? Or because of the frequency of use, you know that this thing is prompt to going bad. So can we at some point shut down, do a preventive maintenance, and then get the equipment running again? So you look at the failure mode, like I said, you look at the failure mode of that equipment and the usage, the frequency. You understand? Before you now say, okay, preventive maintenance can be used for this or reactive maintenance. But the truth of the matter is that when you look at it very well, because of the usage of that particular equipment and because of what the bank has stated as their strategic objective, what the best approach would have been, okay, let us have a standby, so that once this one breaks down, we switch over to the other one, we fix this one, and we'll bring it back. So it is not out of place. But again, you look at the cost factor, you need to do the math. At the end of the day, what is going, because at the end of the day, you want to see that cash. Are you saving cost? So once any strategy that you are deploying is saving cost, then the organization can go for it. You get that?
I did. Thank you very much.
Well done. All right. This is Mansat. Mansat, your hand is up. You can go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Okay, I want to understand something about the type of predictive maintenance, of which you made mention of sensors, meters, videos, and I want to
No, Mansat, can hear you again.
yeah.
Mansat, are you there? Mansat, are you there? Mansat. Oh, lost Mansat. So, if you don't, I don't know if anybody has any question, but just a rundown of what we've done today. We've looked at the maintenance strategies that we need to adopt as facilities managers in our various organizations, in a different organization. We've looked at the run to failure, and we are saying that 80% of the assets we have on our asset register most likely fall under this maintenance strategy. And we are also looked at the preventive maintenance strategy, and we've seen why we should adopt preventive maintenance, especially for equipment with moving parts, high rate, high rate use of consumables. And we have also looked at the predictive maintenance, the beautiful way of maintaining facilities that will save you cost, save you unnecessary maintenance, and save you cost. And we have also looked at the reliability centered maintenance. This involves integration of these three strategies, and the focus of the reliability maintenance framework is to, one, maintain reliability of your assets or facilities, maintain the requirements, but achieve a reduced cost of maintenance. So I would just like us to go through the assessment question, answer them. If you have any question, you can reach out to the organizer Barakat. Then we can, see how we can help out. Go through your slide. Everything is very, very clear there. Like I said, as facilities manager, you don't just manage the facility like a technician. You need to manage the facility structurally, so that when you are presenting your case to management, they will take it serious. I have 50 states to. I think that will be the last person to take your question. Okay?
Yes. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, quick one. You mentioned something now that if we have an issue in our assessment, we can contact the training manager. This is the first time of hearing that. So I don't know if you have that privilege.
No, okay. What I'm saying is, if you have any question based on this training, you have any question, because you can't sit and take all the questions now. Even in the assessment, you have something you don't understand, you can reach out to the training manager, and then you can reach out to me, and then we can.
Fantastic. That's great. You are right. Thank you, sir.
All right, well done, and thank you, everyone. Have a very good night rest, and we'll see on Friday for the facility planning. Thank you so much. Well done.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir.